to stay at the same junior high that I was going to in 7th grade, we had gotten a brand new junior high, and we by myself. And in the beginning, school started out really good, but it was kind of weird for everybody because they were still doing construction. It was a bit chaotic. Everything was indoors, and we were kind of closed in, couldn't go outside, so I wasn't the only kid that was feeling a little awkward at that grade, so put that out there. Wasn't just me. And I could not get administration at that time to unfortunately give me a locker that was near any of my classes. So I had a locker way over on the right side of the entire campus, but all of my classes except for one were on that. So I had to carry the majority of my books on my back, which was well over 25 pounds, being only, I don't know, maybe 3 foot something. It was a lot to carry. And I remember the kids thought it would be really funny if I would go up just a few steps. There was a few kids, not all of them, but some of the mean kids. I would go a few steps up and they would grab the back of the hook where you hang your backpack, and they would grab the hook to throw my weight off, and I would fall backwards. That was almost an everyday thing, but they started calling me short, S-H-I-T. I guess they had figured out the shit word at that point, so good for them. I also that year gave up the French horn, not because of that I didn't have a love for it anymore, but it was around that year that I got more into riding horses, and I just didn't really have the time for the instrument. I wanted to spend my time at the barn, and so that's what I chose to do. And because of that extracurricular interest I associated with, you know, them, the other kids kind of stopped talking to me. They wouldn't say hello in the hallway, they wouldn't help me out with assignments, do homework, invite me to parties, like nothing. I literally was down to just a few friends, if that. In the year it was like October, but it was a pretty warm, really warm day, and I come from the West Coast, so back then, and it's come back into popularity kind of now too, but they had the surfer tank tops that come all the way down the side, and you can either wear like a bathing suit under it or a tank top. And I remember knowing I was going to school, so I put a second shirt, tank top shirt, underneath it, so I was wearing 2 tank tops. Couldn't see anything on the side except for a tank top. 3rd class, this was the same teacher as that I'll tell another story about as well, but he freaked out. And I remember him being like, "You can't wear that, that's dress code violation." And I was like, "Yes sir, but I'm completely covered and I'm wearing 2 shirts." And he said, "Well, do you have a jacket?" And at the time I thought that I had like a windbreaker or something in my locker. So I said, "Yeah, I think I do." So I go walking all the way to the other side of the school, as you know where my locker is, and I go to get in there, and I had left any kind of sweatshirt or windbreaker or jacket, anything at home. And I remember thinking, I can't go back into that class because he absolutely hates me. He was super aggressive, super upset, and I was scared to go back in. And I was walking slowly, crying, and trying to figure out what to do, and feeling bad about myself because I didn't understand. Like, I thought it was okay. I wasn't trying to show any skin. I was a kid. I was innocent. I wasn't, I don't know. And one of our nice vice principals had seen me and helped me out by giving me a sweatshirt to borrow. I returned later, but I remember having to walk around school on a really hot day indoors with a sweatshirt on, super awful, and feeling really bad that I had done something just markedly horrible. I had been out sick. I was prone to infections as a kid, which I didn't really figure the answer out until I was a bit older in high school. I can do another video on that at another time. But yeah, so I'd gotten hit with a particular type of infection that kept me out of school for at least a week and a half while I was trying to recover and get better. And while I was away, the same teacher had been doing a map project where we had to do a geographic map of the different states and make it look really cool and kind of old and sepia tone and all that. And so I'd found out about the assignment and I was going to turn it in, which would technically be late the following week. But I'd gotten a note from my doctor and I spent the entire weekend working on it with my brother and one of his friends, and we used a little lighter and burnt all the edges, and I did the best job I could do. Came back into class on Monday feeling better and handed him the doctor's note and started class. Everything seemed okay, and I went to leave for the next course that was coming. And before I left, I went to turn in my assignment and he didn't say one word to me, turned around, looked at the garbage can and just dropped it. And I remember just like, my heart was like, why did you do that? And I remember being so nervous to confront him, because remember this was the same teacher that got upset over that dress code thing, and I just really felt like that he didn't care for me or that he was mad at me all the time. And so I was nervous, but I knew, or I felt like what was happening was wrong. So I said, why'd you do that? And he said, it's late. I don't take late work. I told you I don't take late assignments. And I said, yes, sir, I know, but I have a doctor's note. I couldn't help not attending. And I worked all weekend on this. And he picks it up, doesn't even unroll the map to look at it or nothing, and just puts a D on it. And I just remember walking out and just crying and being like, I don't know where I can go from here. Like, I don't have many friends, hardly any girlfriends to relate to hang out with. I was so just lonely, and my grades weren't good. And I remember being in the car one day and just crying and telling my mom, like, I want a new start, to a different city, to a different town, like anything. Just why do I have to go through this? So that particular year I got lucky, and our house bordered on 3 different major school districts. So they had opened up public school transferring school that was a bit further down the road in more of a country town, where hopefully I was hoping that there might be some people who would understand my unique nature and love of the outdoors and animals and horses, and that they might get me. And I knew a couple of the kids already from having competed in horse shows, and I was super excited. And I got there and was immediately welcomed into a group of really outgoing girls in the cafeteria, and only a couple of them rode horses, and then the other few of them didn't have anything to do with them, but they all got along and they invited me to sit with them from the first week, and I finally had a place where I belong. So what do you do if you are a kid and you're in school and these things are also happening to you? First off, remember that you are not alone, that this happens to a lot of other kids as well, even if they don't talk about it, because it's not a fun thing to talk about. But you're not alone. What are some of the reasons that it happens? Well, there's 1,000 reasons, really. Something could be going on in that bully's life that makes them really upset on a regular basis. Maybe their parents are fighting, a family member's sick, they had to move and they didn't want to. There's 1,000 things, and they might be just taking that heartache and transferring it to you. So the vast, huge majority of the time, it has nothing to do with what is going on with you, and it has everything to do with what's going on in the bully's head or their life. That I learned from when I was in school, one of the things that bullies do not like, that can cause more bullying, unfortunately sometimes, is not being able to make you conform. So, for example, I talked about the story where I had on the Stussy shirt with the skinny jeans. She couldn't make me change how I dressed. And that probably maybe bothered her, which was why I got bullied. But it doesn't matter if they're trying to change you, because even if it fixes a situation temporarily and you conform and you put on that outfit that they want you to put on, or you hang out with that kid that you don't really like but they want you to hang out with them, or you do whatever it is that they want you to do, or give them your notes on your homework assignment that they are forcing you, anything. Just best advice is don't do it. Don't change, because even if it helps temporarily, you are going to be probably not happy permanently. And the only way that you can get through it and figure out who you are and what you want in life and what makes you happy is doing what makes you happy. So if that t-shirt makes you happy, wear that darn t-shirt. If going to that trail that's muddy and everybody thinks is lame is fun for you, go to that trail. If you're a girl and you like throwing around a football, then throw that darn football. Do whatever it is that makes you smile and makes you happy, and don't worry about what they think of it, because even though it might anger them because you're doing something that's different than they expected, don't change it, because those things that make you different are going to help you when you become an adult. And they're going to help you in your life, and they're going to help you stand out in interviews for jobs, and they're going to help you make lifelong friendships in your adult years. Tell a parent, tell a teacher, tell an administrator. When that happened to me with my teacher, you know, the vice principal helped me out. So, you know, they can't help you if they don't know that it's happening, and you're not telling on anybody when you're telling on somebody who is doing something harmful. It's not tattletelling, and don't worry about it. Just tell who you need to and find solutions to what you're dealing with. I know that I switched and went to a different school district. If that's possible, you might discuss that with your parents. I also did a bit of homeschooling when I had gotten behind in my high school courses, and for me it was one of the best decisions I ever made. I ended up improving my grades, graduating on my own time. So try to find, I'm not saying leave your school, but try to find a way that you can either make the situation better by talking to your counselor or administrator or parents, or look into other avenues of ways that you can avoid the situation. I started taking a different bus to one of my friends' houses in the afternoon and then having my mom pick me up so I could avoid that Janet girl in 7th grade. Do what you gotta do and do what makes you happy. Also, it has gotten so bad that you want to harm yourself, or call 911, talk to your doctor. They're the professionals. They can help you. They're not going to judge you. If they're a good doctor, they know how to deal with it. They will get you the help you need. And in the description below, I will leave a crisis center link for you to call 24/7 if at all, because it's does nothing but hurt the people you love the most, and it's not the right solution in my opinion. And reach out, because we care and there's people to help you. So all of that information about resources, to the best of my ability, will be down in the description links. So I hope that you have an awesome day. Keep doing what makes you happy. Keep doing what makes you smile. And forget the haters. Peace.